psychiatry has a lot of different special interests areas, and what made you want to go into the forensic element of that?
Yeah, well, like when I started psychiatry, I didn't sort of even really know that forensic psychiatry existed as a thing, and didn't think about it. But I really fell into it by accident in terms of just being seconded when I was doing general psychiatry training to come into forensics. And why I've stuck with it is that I think it's just the most fascinating area of all of medicine, really.
Wow.
In that you get to work in such a broad area. It's really, you graduate outside of the general hospital and work in lots of different locations. Like you work in, you can work in the sort of secure hospitals, like where you're getting experience now, and but you also work in prisons, or you work in courts. You work with like justice agencies. You work, you work in office areas, and you just get a variety of work, which might be, you would have a sort of traditional specialist-patient relationship with some people that, a GP would refer you someone and you can see them and provide treatments, and that might be, and again, broad kinds of treatment, pharmacology, psychotherapy, and it's actually quite a sort of social area of psychiatry, looking at a person's social situation and how that might impact their mental state. So it's a broad biopsychosocial approach. And you might see people for assessments, and you might, go off to court, and you might go so it's quite I find it's a really varied and interesting area.
So watching bits and pieces of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial and seeing how ruthless they can be with the kind of mental health professionals involved, have you had to sit through some of those kind of trials where you get kind of attacked on your opinion and your interpretation of the events?
Well, I do have to say that the Australian legal system is so much more polite.
Oh, really?
Than the American one. And I have, I used to be the director of training for forensic psychiatry, and I was sitting down with my sort of counterpart in New York and talking about how we trained people. And it's quite a different system in the United States, that their system of adversarial law is much more cutthroat.
Right.
I actually have to say that, that probably the time I get treated best is when I go to court. Maybe I guess that the operation of Australian lawyers is to be polite while telling you you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But like a judge would intervene,
right,
if you were, attacking an expert.
Yeah.
In a way that's not helping the process. I think that it is an area of forensic psychiatry. You do have to be prepared to have your opinions challenged, which is actually something most doctors never get. That usually you say what goes as the doctor.
Especially, as the most senior doctor on the team, it's it's very what would they call it? Yeah, you say it goes. It's the open kind of debating is not really always there, especially if there's that culture in the medical team. I've seen that sometimes where they just don't question the boss, even though that maybe a junior person's heard that there's new ideas or new research around certain treatments.
I think that's something that while I think forensic psychiatry is the best job in the world, it's not for everybody. And the way I see it is it's quality control. That's how we get better.
What do you mean by that? Oh, in terms of getting your opinions challenged.
Yeah, because you think before you set down something in writing, or hopefully before you open your mouth in court, that you've thought about the issue and you've explored it from the relevant possible angles, and you're giving your opinion is your product, and that you're giving a good solid product, and I would say too, sometimes you're not always the one that's right, and there's not always one right answer to a lot of the thorny problems we come across, and having your opinion challenged sometimes leads you to changing what you do, and often that's then for the better.
Hey team, thank you so much for checking out that highlight clip from the Doctors Getting Coffee podcast that I run. If you want to see more clips, you can check out my YouTube channel, or if you want to listen to the whole thing, check out your favorite podcast app. If you want to support the podcast, consider buying us the next coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Dr. Sil. You can also join us as a YouTube member or a Patreon and get access to the full video podcast episode. Or you can just jump onto our Discord server and we can chat one-on-one. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.